Alright, so what the hell is a digital press versus an analog press when specifically referring to Melee and PM? So, a digital signal refers to something that can be set to on or off. For example, on a GameCube controller, all of the face buttons are digital. So my A button is either being not pressed or it's being pressed. It's either on or it's off. It's a digital input. It can only ever be one or two, on, off. Meanwhile, an analog signal refers to something that can have a variety of different values and it can fluctuate between all of them. So, for example, on the GameCube controller, that would be the analog stick. You know, it can be a multitude of different values. It's not just either pressed or not pressed or on or off. It, is a wide variety of values. Same thing with the C stick and the triggers. So, a GameCube controller, the trigger, you can slide around on it and it will create different values based on how far down you're pressing it down. See, I'm not pressing it at all right now and it's 0, and then I slowly push it in, the number goes higher and higher and higher, and that is a analog signal. Now, the triggers are interesting because they also have a digital signal. So for example, my trigger is essentially set to off right now, but if I click it all the way down, it's when you usually hear like the click of it. There's a button inside on the motherboard, or I guess not a button, but just some sort of like thing that it contacts, and it acts as, oh, you have digitally pressed the trigger, the L trigger in this case, so it is now set to on, and then when you let go of it, it's now back to off. So for the purposes of PM and Melee, analog input for a trigger press basically refers to any one of these values where it's you only slightly pressing the trigger or lightly pressing it, and a digital input refers to when you fully click down on it and it triggers that digital press. It turns on. So for example, this would be an analog press and digital press. So in the case of Melee and PM, why does this matter? What does this realistically do? Oh, hang on, my fucking dolphin is being a bitch. Like realistically, what does this mean? What it means is that I'll use PM as the example here. So right now I'm only slightly pressing my trigger. I'm only triggering the analog part of it, and that is causing my shield to come up, and now I'm gonna fully click down on it. My shield also comes out. So analog or digital doesn't matter for shielding, for example, whereas in Melee it would, because in Melee, since there's the light shield, if I was lightly pressing it like I am right now, that's where like the light shield would be big, and then your analog value corresponds to how big the shield is. But in PM that doesn't matter because there's only one regular shield, there's no light shield. But it still does matter in PM because, for example, if I jump in the air, and right now you can't really see it, but I'm only lightly pressing my trigger, I'm not fully pressing it down, aka the digital press. I'm not air dodging, so I'm not wave dashing or anything like that. But if I full press it, the digital press, that's what counts as, for example, being able to air dodge and various things like that. And so because of that, for the most part, the differences don't really matter that much in PM, because most of the differences between the two are really just relevant to light shield stuff in Melee, so it's not that big a deal. A big exception, however, is that what triggers your ability to tech. So for example, if I have this bomb right here, I blow myself up and I teched right there, you saw that? I can only do that by fully pressing down on the trigger and activating the digital press. If you try to analog press, that won't activate a tech. It just doesn't. So that is something to keep in mind, as well as the fact that when you L cancel in this game, I have a mod that makes the flash be yellow instead when it's successful. But anyways, when you L cancel in this game, both digital or analog, so again, whether it's lightly pressing it or fully clicking it down, they both count towards L canceling. Both will work. However, it's pretty much always better. Not even pretty much. I'm pretty confident that it's just strictly always better to do a light press, aka the analog press, because you'll still be able to L cancel that way, but you won't lock yourself out of the tech window. So right here, I'm doing these L cancels with digital press. If I were to say get hit by Luigi right after this, I might not be able to tech because me hitting the digital press activates the tech window, and then I get in tech lockout, and then I'm not able to tech, which potentially in a crucial situation or whatever could fuck you over. So you just want to, if you're L canceling, you ideally want to do it with a light press, aka analog press. The community in general usually, analog press, digital press, analog press and light press are the same thing, and hard press and digital press mean the same thing. So long story short, if you are L canceling, you just want to use analog for it, just so you don't accidentally lock yourself out of the tech window. That's pretty much it. But that's essentially what analog versus digital is for the sake of like GameCube triggers. It's usually not a big deal, but it comes up occasionally, so it's important to keep in mind the differences. And this all also applies to Melee as well. The one addition compared to PM is just that Melee has the light shield depending on how light or hard you're pressing your shield. But in PM, doesn't matter. Shield is just always the same.